May 19th, 2015, 6 a.m. London. Armed police smash through the front door of a house in Dartford, Kent. They drag an elderly man from his bed. His wife screams from the hallway. Behind a bookshelf, officers find £200,000 in cash. Across London, 5 more raids happen at the same moment. Houses torn apart. Diamonds pulled from jacket linings. Gold bars ripped from underneath floorboards. 6 pensioners in handcuffs. Average age, 67. Combined age, 442 years. They've just been arrested for the largest burglary in English history. £14 million stolen from a vault in central London. But here's what kept a Scotland Yard up at night for weeks. The alarm triggered on night 1. A security guard responded. Police were notified. Every system worked perfectly, and these old men still spent 4 days drilling through the vault while London slept. How did they do it? Why did the mastermind quit halfway through and take a bus home? And how did police catch a ghost who left no fingerprints, no DNA, and no face on any camera? Hatton Garden, the center of London's diamond trade since the 1850s. Billions of pounds in gems pass through these streets every year. Underneath 88 to 90 Hatton Garden sits a vault. 999 safety deposit boxes. No names required. No questions asked. Think about who uses a place like that. People who don't trust banks. People hiding money from the tax man. People whose cash comes from places that don't give receipts. You pay your fee. You get a key. Nobody asks what's in your box. For decades, this vault held secrets that were never supposed to see daylight. That's what made it a target. The man who planned this job is Brian Reeder. To his neighbors, he's a retired car dealer. Quiet, friendly, waves hello over the garden fence. But in 1983, Reeder helped to pull off the Brinks-Mat robbery. 6 men broke into a warehouse near Heathrow expecting £3 million. They found £26 million in gold, 3 tons of it. Reeder wasn't inside the warehouse. He moved the money afterward, laundered millions through shell companies and crooked dealers. He did 8 years. But here's what most people don't know. Brinks-Mat carried a curse. Over the next 2 decades, 11 people connected to that gold were murdered. Reeder watched them die one by one. People he'd worked with, people he knew, but not him. He survived, did his time, got out, stayed invisible for 30 years. Now he's in his 70s. Parkinson's disease, shaky hands. His criminal days should be finished, but he keeps thinking about that vault in Hatton Garden. Here's what Reeder understood that most criminals don't. The vault door is 3 inches of reinforced steel, electronic locks, sensors everywhere. You could spend years trying to crack it. But the wall next to the door? That's just concrete. Most thieves look at a vault and see the door. Reeder looked at the same vault and saw the wall. That's the difference between a thief and a mastermind. Reeder starts meeting an old associate named Terry Perkins. They've known each other 40 years. Perkins has his own history. 1983, same year as Brinks-Mat, he robbed a security depot in East London. £6 million. Got 22 years. Escaped from prison. Lived as a fugitive until 2012. Now he's out. Heart problems, diabetes, nothing but time. They meet at a pub called The Castle, Friday afternoons. 2 old men having a pint. Who would look twice? Perkins has been watching the Hatton Garden building for years. The security is ancient. 1 guard. No overnight patrols. Empty from Friday evening until Tuesday morning. And there's a lift shaft running straight down to the basement. If you could get inside, disable the lift, and climb down the shaft, you'd bypass everything. No forced entry, no broken windows. You'd be standing next to the vault before any alarm could trigger. Reeder starts sketching on napkins. They spend 3 years planning, not weeks. 3 years. They photograph the building, time the guards' movements, map every corridor. Reeder finds a Hilti D350 industrial concrete core, diamond-tipped blade, the only tool that can cut through the reinforced walls. But here's the problem. You can't just pick one up and start drilling. It takes months to learn. One wrong move and the blade jams, the motor burns out, and your heist is over. A crew member named Daniel Jones volunteers to learn. Jones has been a burglar his whole life. Never caught for anything major. He's also strange. Reportedly sleeps in his dead mother's dressing gown wearing a fez. Has conversations with his dog. But Jones does something the others don't. He reads forensics textbooks, studies how police catch criminals, even reads a book called Forensics for Dummies. Cover to cover, the crew fills out. John Collins, the driver, owns a white Mercedes with a black roof. Unusual color combination. The others privately think he's stupid, but they need his car. And then there's the final member, the one who makes everything possible. Michael Seed. His father was a Cambridge professor who pioneered DNA research. Seed inherited the brains, but not the career. He became a locksmith, then something harder to define. In the London underworld, he's known as maybe the best alarm specialist in England. He doesn't crack safes, he makes security systems go blind. Reader meets him in a car park, explains the job. Seed listens, asks 3 questions, leaves without answering. 2 weeks later, he calls back. He's in. One condition: the crew never learns his real name, never sees his face. They call him Basil. Why Basil? Some say it stands for Best Alarm Specialist in London. Nobody knows for sure. April 2015. Easter weekend. London goes quiet. Banks close Thursday. Don't reopen until Tuesday. 4 days of silence. Thursday night, 9:19 p.m. A white van pulls up outside 88 to 90 Hatton Garden. 4 men climb out wearing high-visibility vests and hard hats. There's been an electrical fire burning nearby for 2 days. Workmen in the area don't attract attention. Then Basil appears. Ginger wig, face covered, holding a set of keys. Not copies, not picks. Working keys that slide into the lock and turn. Where did he get them? Reader never asked. To this day, nobody knows. They're inside. 3rd floor. Jones opens the lift control panel, cuts 2 wires. The lift freezes. They pry open the shaft doors and stare into blackness. 30 feet straight down. One by one, they lower themselves on ropes. Reader goes last. Parkinson's hands shaking on the line. Think about that. A man in his mid-70s rappelling down an elevator shaft to rob a vault. The basement. Pitch black. There's the vault door. 3 inches of steel. Untouchable. They ignore it. 10 feet to the left is their real target. The wall. Jones sets up the drill. The blade screams into concrete. Dust fills the air. Friday, April 3rd, 12:21 a.m. The alarm triggers. A security guard named Kelvin Stockwell gets dispatched. He arrives at 1:15 a.m., walks around the building, checks the door, locked, checks the windows, intact. He doesn't go inside. He calls the police. Reports an alarm at a commercial property. Building appears secure. The official response: no action required. Stockwell drives home. Directly beneath where he stood, 6 men continue drilling through the vault. This is what still baffles investigators. Every system worked. The sensors detected intrusion. The alarm triggered. A guard responded. Police were informed. And the decision was do nothing. Why? Because from outside, everything looked fine. The gang didn't beat the security system. They beat the humans running it. But inside the basement, things are falling apart. By 3 a.m., the holes are done. The wall is weakened. They've brought a hydraulic ram to punch through. Industrial strength. They position it, start pumping. Nothing. The equipment is broken. Reader stares at the wall. 6 hours of work. Inches away from 999 safety deposit boxes. And the one tool they need doesn't function.
I'm done,
he says. The others look at him. The pump is broken. I'm not spending another night down here. He climbs back up the rope, walks out the front door, catches a night bus home. The mastermind just abandoned his own heist. Put yourself in the crew's position. Your leader quit. Your equipment failed. Police were notified hours ago. Every instinct says, go home. Terry Perkins stares at those 3 holes, at how close they are. It's his birthday. He knows he'll never get another chance. We're finishing this, he says. Saturday, Jones and Perkins drive to a tool shop, buy a new pump. The clerk asks for a name. V. Jones, Danny says. Like Vinnie Jones, the footballer. That receipt will be used against them in court. Saturday night, back to Hatton Garden. The building is still empty. The alarm went off. A guard came. Police were notified. And nobody's coming. They position the new pump. Start pushing. 1 stroke, 2, 3. The wall cracks. Concrete crumbles. And there it is. A hole just big enough to squeeze through. On the other side, hundreds of safety deposit boxes stretching into darkness. Jones crawls through first. His torch sweeps the room. Decades of secrets right in front of him. The others follow. Crowbars crack locks. Lids fly open. Diamonds. Gold chains. Cash in every currency. Rolex watches. Sapphires. Family jewelry hidden for generations. They fill wheelie bins. Bag after bag. 73 boxes emptied. By Sunday night, they load everything into vehicles and disappear. Nobody sees them. Nobody stops them. Tuesday morning, staff arrive after the holiday. They find the hole, the dust. 73 boxes scattered like corpses. Within hours, helicopters circle overhead. Every paper runs the story. 200 million pounds stolen, they claim. The real number is 14 million pounds. Still the largest burglary in English history? Scotland Yard expects professional criminals. International gangs, they pull the CCTV, and what they find makes them laugh. Old men, moving slowly, taking breaks. One uses a walking stick. The press calls them the Diamond Wheezers, Dad's Army. But for weeks, there are no real leads. No faces, no names. Then a detective spots something. A white Mercedes with a black roof shows up on 3 cameras near Hatton Garden. They run the plate. John Collins, Islington. Police wire Collins' car, wire Perkins' car too, and then they listen. The old men talk, openly, freely, like they got away with it. They argue about shares, describe the vault, discuss melting the gold. Perkins says something that will be played at trial. Nick, if we get nicked, at least we had one last go, the last fling. They're recording their own confessions. May 19th, the raids, Reader, 200,000 pounds behind a bookshelf. Perkins, diamonds in his jacket, gold under the floor. Jones leads police to a cemetery where he buried his share. They find a second stash later, 613,000 pounds. Collins, arrested, never figures out how they found him. But one person is missing. Basil, no DNA, no fingerprints, no face on any camera. Police offer 20,000 pounds for information. Nothing comes. The others go to prison. Reader gets 6 years, Perkins gets 7. Perkins dies in his cell in 2018. Basil walks free. For 3 years, the best thief in London lives as a ghost. Then a forensic analyst named Dr. Hayden Kelly tries something new. He doesn't look for faces. He studies how Basil walks. Gait analysis. Every person moves differently. Stride length, arm swing, hip rotation. Your walk is almost as unique as your fingerprint. And unlike your face, you can't disguise it. Kelly compares footage of Basil against known suspects. One name keeps matching. Michael Seed. Lives alone in Islington. Son of a Cambridge scientist. Almost no criminal record. March 2018, 5:45 a.m. Police smash through Seed's door. Inside, a small man in his underwear. Also inside, 143,000 pounds in gold. Gems traced to Hatton Garden. Tools, wigs, basil. Caught by the way he walks. He denies everything. Claims he was visiting his mother. The walk doesn't lie. March 2019. Convicted, 10 years. Here's what this story really reveals. Every security system at Hatton Garden worked. The alarm triggered, the guard came. Police were notified. And 6 old men spent 4 days inside that vault. The failure wasn't technology, it was human. A guard who checked the door but didn't go in. Police who logged a call but didn't send anyone. Everyone assumed someone else would handle it. Nobody did. The crew understood something most criminals miss. Security isn't about alarms or locks or cameras. Security is about attention. And nobody pays attention to a building that looks fine from outside. But they made every mistake afterward. The distinctive car on 3 cameras, the receipt with a joke name, treasure buried in a cemetery, and worst of all, talking, constantly, in cars they thought were private. The heist was nearly perfect. Everything after was amateur hour. That's the difference between a legend and a convict, not how you pull the job, whether you can stay quiet when it's done. Brian Reader got released in 2019, too sick to finish his sentence. He went back to Dartford, back to the car lot. He wanted one last job, proof he wasn't finished. His name is in every history book now. Movies were made, documentaries filmed. He's a legend. He's also an old man waiting to die, owing £6 million he'll never pay. At sentencing, the judge asked the obvious question. These men could have stayed home, lived out their years in peace. Why risk everything? Perkins gave the only honest answer. Recorded in that bugged car weeks before arrest. One last adventure, one final score. Something to prove we're not finished. They proved it, and then they finished. Of the £14 million stolen, only £4 million was recovered. The rest vanished, melted down, hidden in places that may never be found. The vault doesn't exist anymore. The company went bankrupt. Some say crime doesn't pay. The missing £10 million suggests otherwise.